you guys have all this stuff, but we want like the real stories connected to them, the good and the
Yes.
bad. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I want with this. The
Mm-hmm.
stories that are good and the bad, not just the fluff and good stuff that happened, but talk about some of the negative things. If Kobe didn't like it, or the designer didn't like it, or they had a disagreement, like put all that in there.
All right. Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez. And to my left or to my right, it's the belated birthday boy, Jacques Slade.
What up? What up?
Happy
What up?
birthday,
Welcome.
man.
Thank you, sir.
That was last
Thank
week.
you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was last week. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah. So I was just gonna ask, how did your weekend go? Did you have any plans? Did you have like a big old celebration that I wasn't invited to because I'm
No.
like that?
We just kept it pretty chill. Just went down to Santa Barbara. Just hung out in Santa Barbara for a day. Nothing
Ooh.
fancy. Just went out to Santa Barbara for
Fancy,
a
like at
day.
a
Had
5-star
some.
hotel or something, had like
I
a
don't. I
nice
don't
big
think.
old
I don't.
dinner with all of
No.
your celebrity friends and everything.
No.
I
I
guess
don't
that's
have.
because I wasn't invited,
I don't
that's how
have
that
celebrity
goes.
friends. First of all, so let's address that right off the bat. Celebrities don't know me. Um, but yeah, just kept it chill. Went with the family while I went out there. Didn't really do much. Just kind of hung out, walked around, did some shopping, did some eating,
Cool.
went on the pier, and that was it. That was it. Came back home. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing crazy.
No, nothing
Very
big
low
or
key.
anything
I'm
like
very
that.
low maintenance, Juan. I'm very low maintenance.
I find that hard to believe because I know you. I know you, Jacques.
That's
Like
just
behind
the
the scenes,
truth.
you're actually like a very yeah, people don't notice, but like behind the scenes, Jacques is very much the coolest person you will ever meet. I see you thought you were gonna get something out of me. Nah, you're not gonna
I'm
get
not.
nothing out of me. Jacques is the coolest person ever. So, and
I'm
I'm
not. I'm very
sure,
chill.
yeah, no, cool and chill can pretty much, they kind of go in hand. It's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. So yeah, no, I'm glad you had a great birthday and everything, man. Nice
Yeah, it
and
was
chill with the
nice.
family,
Thank
because
you.
that's all you can ever ask for, really.
Yeah, I
So
appreciate you. Thank you for asking.
of course. So I had a whole rundown for the show and everything. I thought we were going to talk about a couple of things, but yesterday, news broke that
Yeah.
is very pertinent to our interests, shall we say.
Yes. Yes.
The
That's a good way to put it.
17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers are now going to be sold to the guy who owns the Dodgers. And that
Yeah.
is Mark Walter, I believe the guy's name is. And
Yeah.
he's part of like a big old conglomerate group that owns like the Dodgers, the Sparks, like Chelsea, the football club. They're also like the owners of the upcoming Cadillac F1 team. So it's a huge deal. And
Yeah.
it's the end of an era. The bus, I mean, they're still going to retain, apparently they're going to retain like some level of like ownership, like 15% or something. And Jeannie Buss is still going to be the quote unquote the governor and run the
Yeah.
franchise for the foreseeable future. But it's the end of an era, man. Like, as long as I've been alive, the Lakers have been a bus run operation, the Bus family run operation, and it's weird. It's gonna be weird that it's no longer there. I mean, I don't know how much it's really gonna affect us day to day or anything like that, but it's gonna
Right.
be weird knowing that it's not gonna be run by the only people we've ever known to run the Lakers, and it's
Right.
been a pretty successful one at that. Pretty
Yeah.
successful run.
I honestly never thought that. I thought the Bus family would own the Lakers for as long as I would live.
Yeah, yeah. Really thought it was gonna be the situation where it was Genie or the later kids of Jerry Buss, the ones from the
Yeah.
younger ones, were probably gonna run it and then move it on to generation and generation. Maybe one day they would sell, but no, you're right. I figured as long as I was around, I figured it would always be run by the Buss family. But apparently, it's going to good hands because it's the dude who owns the Dodgers, and the Dodgers has just been an amazingly run organization ever since you know that guy bought
Hmm.
the Dodgers, like, what was it, like over a decade ago, and they've just been on this amazing run, always
Yeah.
winning, always making the playoffs, competing, signing the players, spending whatever it takes and just doing right by the fans. And not that I thought that the bus was ever negligent, when it comes to running the Lakers or anything like that, but it was a family run business. It was the only thing that was
Yeah.
making them money. They didn't really have any interests outside of the Lakers. So their hands were tied. And, you always heard that they were like house poor or something like that, where they didn't have money coming in from elsewhere. So basically everything they had was poured into the Lakers, and that always kind of left them short on stuff. But basically they had to rely on the prestige of the
Yeah.
franchise
Yep.
and, all the glamour that comes from, playing for the Lakers and everything. But now you were going to get a more modern, more, I don't want to say competently run, because that's not fair to, because the Lakers have won championships. It's unfair to say that they weren't competently run, but there have been stretches where you're like, maybe it'd be nice if they modernize things a little bit.
Yeah.
Now we're probably gonna have, like, better coaching staffs, better scouting, maybe more of like a focus on like analytics and all that stuff. So yeah, I just wonder what the future. I mean, the future is probably seems like it's gonna be bright, but I also wonder if like a bit of the soul of the Lakers is going a little bit, just because it's not that family run. It's weird to say mom and pop, right? But it's like it was very much like a family run business. So I feel like maybe a little bit
Yeah.
of that is going away, but at the same time, it's hard to knock it if the trade off is like a more professionally run organization.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess trade-off is probably the best way to put it. Like I worry
Yeah.
what that means for like the hometown feel, because like even though the Lakers are obviously a massive organization and like they're obviously like the pinnacle team in the NBA, like there's no disputing like they are like the NBA team everybody wants to be. They
Yep.
still felt like they still had like this small town kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that part is going to go away. And there's positives and negatives to that. You just
Hmm.
don't want the warm feeling of being a Laker fan. You don't want that to go away. You don't want it to be like a cold, like just, hey, let's make some money kind of thing for the team. Because that's the part I think is the most challenging.
And that's the thing is like, you don't, I don't think you hear that for like the Dodgers. Like, I mean, like I said, we're LA people, but we're not like die-hard Dodger fans or anything like that. But I haven't heard really like a complaint from any of my, like, Dodger fan friends. Like, they say that the organization is like doing wrong by them. Stuff's a little bit more expensive because, they have to pay the players. But other
Yeah,
than that, it seems like things seem to be running smoothly over there. So I expect something similar for the Lakers. I mean, I'm assuming, prices probably going to go up, just like anything else. Prices are probably going to go up. There might
yeah.
be changes to staples, or there's maybe a potential for them to move out of downtown LA to go somewhere else. I heard there was a joke going around that they're going to be the Palmdale Lakers now, and I'm like, that's a little bit far.
Ah,
That's a little too far, guys. I don't know about that. Maybe the Irwindale Lakers or the City of Industry Lakers might be something.
that's
That'd be
funny.
great for me because it'd be closer to where I live. But that could be a possibility, just because they don't own, like, the Bus family doesn't own Staples. So, and I don't
Right.
think this new ownership group is also going to own Staples. They don't own the land surrounding it. So maybe they move the team to somewhere where they own the land, they own the parking, they maybe they open up their own version of like LA Live, where like it's this huge shopping, like, center. Like, I don't know if you've been to like all these football towns, like, like Foxborough and like for the New England Patriots, but they've got stores, hotels. I think there's even like a
Yeah.
hospital nearby. So, maybe they have something like that planned, because yeah, man, like when people think about brands in sports, the Lakers is like top two, and I don't think it's two.
Yeah.
Like, people like to talk about like the Cowboys and all that stuff, America's team and all that stuff. Man, the Lakers are the world's team. You know, you know what
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Like, people talk about like, oh, the Cowboys are this and that, the Yankees are this, and I'm okay. Maybe the Yankees. I would say the Yankees are probably like closer to competition with the Lakers than like the Cowboys, because Cowboys is America centric, and I get it. Like, people love their football here, but the Lakers are worldwide, man. Like, everywhere you go, like, when I was growing up in the Philippines, people love the Lakers there. And,
Yeah.
you go everywhere. You go to Asia, you go to China, you go to Europe. Like, it's an international team. Everybody, like, knows the Lakers, watches the Lakers, and it's a worldwide brand. So yeah, I mean, And I think they're probably gonna start exploiting that. And they have like the perfect guy, young guy there, Luca, an international player, and they still have LeBron. So I don't know, man. Like things, I'm optimistic. I'm not even gonna say cautiously optimistic. I'm just gonna be like optimistic about the future of the franchise. It's just that there's that small little part of you like, man. There, like a little part of me is like, oh, we're kind of like we're done from like the old days where like you saw Jerry Buss, hanging around like
Yeah.
Staples and everything. You knew like it was going to be run by like a family that genuinely cared about the city and all that stuff. So a
Yeah.
little part of me, like a little part of that is gone, but at the same time, it's like if it had to go somewhere, I would. It's hard pressed to find someone who's you find like somebody who's not as qualified as like the guy who runs the Dodgers. And
Yeah.
also keeps his
Yeah.
name out of the spotlight. He's not like one of those newfound owners who's like who wants everything on him, wants the spotlight all on him. He seems to be like a very low key guy. Maybe there's reasons for
Yeah.
that, but you know, so far so good. So far so good.
Yeah. Keeping the team at the forefront, I think is going to be important, especially for LA fans. And it was a smart idea to keep Jeannie on because Laker fans have a not that that they know her personally or anything like that, but they just have an affinity for her for after all these years. So it makes that also kind of makes sense. So we'll see what happens. When you hear like you didn't often hear about how like cash strapped the Lakers were. That wasn't like a conversation that you heard a lot. But based on everything that I've read since then, it seems like it was kind of a big deal, and that it stopped a couple of things from happening that could have been really great. So, you know, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I'm hanging on to my old ways, and change is hard kind of ways. So we'll see. We'll see. We just hope the Lakers continue the what is it the culture of excellence is really just all we're really worried about at the end of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
day.
yeah. The first sign is the this new group makes it right, and they sign Chris Paul just for shits and giggles. It's like we're
Mm,
finally bringing Chris. We're finally bringing him home where he should have been all along. that,
right.
that should be.
Yeah.
It's a little. It's like what is it now at this point? What 13 years too late? But hey,
It is what it is.
Chris is finally where he should have been this whole time. But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I think it's also funny that it's another. Oh, the Lakers are putting attention on themselves when it's the finals going on right now. It's like, hey man, what are you gonna do? I mean, that's how it goes here in LA, man. Like we make the news, whether it's Kobe demanding a trade like all those years ago when he said he wanted out of LA, or was it last year they
Yeah.
tried to get a new coach or something, or now this year sell to a new team right when the finals is rolling around. It's like, yeah, man, and that's just how it goes here in LA. We get all that attention. Just can't really.
Can't
What
help
you
it.
gonna
It's
do?
just
Hate on?
that's just yeah. It's an
That's,
LA thing.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's a symbol of excellence and whatnot.
Yeah. Basically. Basically.
Yeah, no, it's just fresh in our minds because it just happened yesterday, so we're still not sure how everything is going to play out. Whether there's going to be changes made to the front office, or there's going to be decisions made that we don't know what's going to happen to that kind of stuff. But I'm optimistic that things are gonna probably get a little better, but we'll just see how that goes.
Yeah. I imagine things will get better. You just want it to still feel like the Lakers.
Can we change the name? Can we bring it back to Staples? That's one thing I would like to personally ask to this new ownership group is like, hey guys, can you find a new sponsor? I'm not
Uh,
particularly fond of the current name of Staples Center. You don't have to get Staples back, but if you could, change it to something else, you could call it the Nike Arena. You could get like whatever brand you want. Just
the
if we
Nike
could
Arena.
if you could just switch it out from what it is currently, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Anyways,
Yeah.
moving on to our next topic, John. Keeping it because we have to keep it in the Lakers side of things. A Nike Vault is back. It's not the Nike Vault
Not the
by Staples Center. RIP
yeah.
to the Nike Vault. Those are some good times. I love that. I love that store. But a vault is back in the Nike side of things, and they've opened up a digital vault, and they're calling it the Kobe Vault. It's on the
Yeah,
Nike app right now, and basically, it's a space where you can check out Kobe Protros from
yeah.
1 to 11. And they've got stories, photos, recent releases on there. Nothing you can buy, I guess, but it's an interesting play by Nike. Is this like a move towards the eventual Kobe brand that we've all been hoping for? Is this like just a growth? They're showing that they want to grow the Kobe name into something beyond just like, hey, we do these pro shows every couple of years. Like, is this like the furthering, like we said on the show, like a furthering of the mythology, the Kobe mythology? Is this something basically is kind of what I'm asking is like, is this something, is this a push towards something, or is this just a thing that they're showing right now and then it just kind of fades away into the ether eventually? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, my hope is that this gives us more access to like the some of the like the deeper stories
Mm-hmm.
behind the Kobe's line. I mean, I like that they're doing this, and I feel like this is I like that they're doing it if the stories are true. Like I don't just want the marketing side. Like it's kind of like when the museum in the Nintendo museum, like how it's like, oh, it's cool you guys have all this stuff, but we want like the real stories connected to them, the good and the
Yes.
bad. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I want with this. The
Mm-hmm.
stories that are good and the bad, not just the all the fluff and good stuff that happened, but talk about some of the negative things. If Kobe didn't like it or the designer didn't like it or they had a disagreement, like put all that in there. Let's have like the real behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes stories that make the vault to me something more than just a marketing play. It really gives us a historical context for the shoes.
Right. And you always heard about stories about Kobe working with Eric Avar and
Hmm.
how Kobe would make these like, wild 2 a.m., 3 a.m. phone calls about the shoe. I have to
Yep.
figure at some point Avar was like, man, what else calling me? Oh, damn it, Kobe again. Just put to like, do not disturb or something like that. I want to hear those kinds of stories, right? Like, and hopefully the Kobe Vault is a space for that. Do you think though, for most people who are seeing this on the app, are they more are their biggest concern is, does this mean I can get these shoes easier? Like, do you think like for them it's more for the consumer side, it's like, yeah, the stories are cool and everything. Yeah, we want to hear about all that stuff, yada yada yada. But yo, can I finally buy these? Because it is easier to buy Kobe's nowadays than it was 2, 3 years ago. But there are still particular releases that do, still have that hype beast. Everybody lines up for them, tries to get them, use bots and all that stuff to try to get them. Do you feel like this is also another way to appease that particular base who wants these shoes? Like, maybe they have like a story about a particular Kobe. Like, like sometimes they do the scratch and snip, like, you scratch the
Yeah.
something on the screen. Do you think they're gonna do something like that? Because they don't say it in any of the stuff, like, announcing it. But do you feel like that's an opportunity for them to, please the crowd, basically?
I think it's definitely an opportunity for like for surprise and delight, like surprise
Mm-hmm.
people with oh, if they go back in on a certain day that Kobe wore a certain shoe, and if you're on that model and you scratch and then you can like get the shoe. Obviously, that kind of stuff leaks super fast, but
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff would be cool. Like I would love for them to do that kind of stuff like that. But is it going to make it easier to buy Kobe's? I'm not sure that's how they're going to use this tool. I think it's more of like an edutainment kind of thing, like educate and entertain at the same time. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they're going to use this to sell shoes directly. Um,
Right.
that's my opinion. But I would love the surprise and delight thing if they like every once in a while, like, oh, the blankety blank is coming out. Let's do something special. Let's this is coming out. Let's do something special. If people are in the app scrolling through the Kobe vaults to kind of get people more involved and looking at this stuff. But then they also need to update it. Like
Right. Right.
it's cool. Like if we go through it one time and we kind of read through everything, why should we ever go back?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
It should
they've
be
got
a
to figure out
constant.
what that is. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
got to be constant updates or constant new information that gives us a reason to go back and visit the quote unquote vault outside of just being the same thing every single time. At least that's where my brain goes.
Right.
That's
And
what I would
if you
that's what I would
were,
want.
yeah, and if you were like part of that team that has to, who has that responsibility of running that particular side of the sneakers app, like what are things that could get you coming back to that, to the Kobe vault? Like, we talked about the stories and everything. We talked about, having, like that furthering of the mythology and all that stuff. But is there anything else like games or trivia or stuff like that? Like, do you think active, like what kind of gimmicks, I guess, would kind of be beyond just like saying, oh, hey, you can only buy this Pro if you go to this page at this particular time or something like that. Like, like, let's think out of the box. Like, let's give Nike some ideas, basically. It's like, what, what could they do that would get people checking it regularly? Is it like a daily update? Like, cause you mentioned Nintendo. Nintendo has like standalone app nowadays, like Nintendo Today or something. I forget what it is, like My Nintendo or something like that. They developed it because they don't want, just they want to control their narrative, obviously, but they also just don't want, they just don't like putting their stuff out on social media anymore because it could be distorted. They're also not
Mhm.
fans of like the current situation of Twitter, blah blah blah. So they want to be able to control that. So, and every day they have like new tidbits, whether it's like a new phone wallpaper or a new little story about a particular game. Like every day they do that. Like literally, I have like notifications on my thing because I'm always like hoping that there might be like some crazy thing that they announce. Like,
Right.
what could like, obviously it'd be tough to do that every day with the Kobe Vault and stuff like that, but what is something that maybe you can get people coming back like weekly, like every, or maybe not even week, like every couple weeks or something, just to make sure that it's always, people are always aware of it, not always checking for a daily, but like at least always being aware of it. Like, what could they do besides like what we've been talking about? And it's tough to
I
think
mean,
about,
I
right?
think
But
they have to. They're gonna have to add. They're gonna have to add value somehow.
hmm
I think part of that is adding more and more context around things,
right.
um, like images, videos of things that they have in the archive, like having that kind
hmm
of stuff being kind of constantly updated and being refined is going to get people into it. Adding new features, whatever those features may be. Maybe now
Right.
you can 3D scan the shoe, or I mean, you can 3D rotate the shoe, or maybe now you can project it onto the floor and see what it looks like on your foot, or when there's a new colorway, telling that colorway storyline through the app. Just like
Yeah.
small things that add value to the consumer and to the consumer experience, I think is the only way to really get people coming back. Like the
Yeah.
history is going to be great and telling more history is awesome, but I think that's a very specific crowd that is going to care about that kind of stuff. The you and me's of the world. But I
hmm
don't know if anybody else is going to care. If like they just want a pair of Kobe's, they're not going to care about that whole full story. And I
Yeah.
think by adding elements like design sketches and prototype models that have never been seen before and things like that, adding to the story, uh, telling deeper stories about new color and all that stuff, I think it has to be done in order to get people to keep coming back. Otherwise, people are going to see it, go through it one time, read everything, and lose interest, not knowing
Right.
that there's going to be updates to it to make it better and to continually refine it over time.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like, and you were mentioning like, stuff like that. I think for me personally, something fun would be like outtakes from like previous commercials or something like that, like B-roll or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the old
yeah.
Kobe commercials, they can't show the Kanye stuff anymore, probably. But the old Kobe system bits, right? Like they have outtakes from that. Maybe they show that. Just stuff like that. Or those old ankle insurance commercials, or like stuff that they never used, like, oh, we were planning on doing this, but it never just came to fruition for reasons, like, stuff like that. That stuff that's not going to affect anybody anymore. It's just like, hey, we'll just put it out there because I just be fun. Or, stuff that maybe you thought was going to happen, just like, confirmation that, oh, maybe there was this thing that was supposed to release, but it never happened and
Mhm.
it never got talked about again. But hey, let's show it now or something like that. So I think that would be stuff, like I said, for me and you, it'd be super interesting, but for like the I just wanted the shoes, they're gonna have to like work a little bit harder for their attention. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think it's a good move, to just keep. the Kobe name out there and everything, and to further the Kobe brand, which brings me to my last question. Do you think like Nike is eventually going to get to a Kobe brand? And what I mean by that is we're probably not going to get like Kobe shoes that don't have like it's not going to be like a Jordan brand situation where there's no swoosh. But do you feel like there's going to be eventually like a Kobe centric brand where we have Kobe athletes and Kobe school? Like we already kind of heard about that when we had like certain schools were going to have like specific Kobe specific shoes, but I thought that we would also get like the sheath logo on the uniforms, but we never got there. But do you feel like we're still inching closer towards to that future, or do you feel like this is kind of it? Like this is like the furthest we're ever going to get?
So I was very optimistic about this early on in the last
Yeah.
few years,
Mm-hmm.
but I've become less optimistic since then. So
Mm.
I I still think there's an opportunity for it. I think
Right.
the Kobe brand is strong enough to hold its own weight, but I guess I'm not as sure. But prior, maybe a year or so ago, I'd have been like, yes, they're definitely going to do it. Now I feel less so, and you got to think like LeBron doesn't even have that kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't say he may have that kind of deal, but he doesn't have that kind of setup. And he is like literally lifelong Nike. And it's not like he doesn't represent excellence or playing at a high level or any of those things that people are attracted to. So it's that gives me pause when I think about, oh, would they do that for Kobe?
Right.
Especially when they haven't done it for LeBron or KD for that matter, or
Mm-hmm.
Paul George or whoever has a signature, Chris Paul, any of those guys. None of them have like their own thing
Right.
outside of Nike or within Nike kind of thing. Yeah, so yes and no, I guess is the answer to that question. Along with it, where to get to answer that question.
Yeah, it's like we're hoping, we're still holding out hope that it'll happen, but at the same time, it's like it's not looking, it's not as bright. That future just isn't as bright as it was,
Yep.
say, like maybe even a year ago, maybe even yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's in the cards, which is a bit of a bummer because we always thought, even back then, right? We always thought that there would be a separate Kobe thing when he was still around. We were
Yeah.
just waiting for that inevitable, like, post playing days. And then we got the AD line and all that stuff. But, after that, just nothing, never
Nothing.
really came to fruition. And it's a bit of a bummer,
That,
but at the same time, it's like, maybe they know the business better than we do, obviously. So they probably see the numbers and they're like, it's probably not worth it to them. It's worth it to us because what do we care?
yeah.
We're not the ones running this business. So it's worth it to
Yeah,
us.
but I
It's
think
worth it to
people would
us.
rock with Kobe. I think people would
Hmm.
rock with the Kobe line. I think people would really rock with it.
Yeah.
And that Kobe and the Sheath logo is so cool. Like you
Hmm.
can put that on anything. You can put it on a football. You can put it on a baseball. You can put it on a soccer ball. Like you can put it on all kind of things, and it just you can put it on apparel just by itself. It works. Like I think it has the brand recognition.
Absolutely.
Out especially in the sports world. So you could really put it on anything. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
And there's like a whole generation of kids who grew up where Kobe is their Jordan. And
Yep.
you have to believe that they would love to rock gear, you know, uniforms or something that has the Sheath logo on there. So again, still holding out hope, but it's definitely the hope has dwindled over the years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll take what we can, I guess, with this Kobe Vault thing, and hopefully it grows into something
Right.
a
Yeah.
little bit
Hopefully it
more.
grows. It grows into
Yeah,
all the things we've been talking about. Yeah.
yeah, totally. Yeah, Nike, if you're listening, hit us up. We got ideas. We're not going to share it all in the podcast, but we.
Right. True. True.
It's actually behind these notes right here. No, I'm kidding. But
Uh,
anyways, moving on to our next topic, Jacques. So the NBA finals, they're going on right now. I've been watching the games, but it's not like but it's playing in the background. It's not one of those I'm just
yeah.
watching intently and all that stuff. But I'm watching and paying attention. 50-50, that kind of thing while doing other stuff. But we don't know what's going to happen. Like as of this recording, Game 6 hasn't been played. It's totally possible the Thunder could close it out tonight. It's also possible that the Pacers, do what they do and just make amazing comebacks like they've done all postseason long, and they force a Game 7. But I think the thing that I want to talk about is people wanting to fix the NBA, because it's just been a huge topic conversation. Quote unquote, the ratings are down and all that stuff. I've always been one of those like, who gives a crap and all that stuff. But yeah, there's always been just this complaints about like, how to fix the NBA. There's like, people complaining about like there not being the finals logos, those big trophy logos that used to be like, from the 2000s. They're not on there, and now they've digitally placed it on there. People want the player introductions and all that stuff, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that they didn't do that anymore. So it's
Yeah.
just those little things, right? And now that the NBA is going back to NBC, there's going to be like more push for like player profiles and doing all of those fluff stuff and
Yeah.
everything just to like improve, the presentation. And I guess I got to ask, like, if you were one of these networks, because there's a lot of complaints, like, ESPN is too much this, TNT is too much this. But if you
Mhm.
if you had like your say, if you were say Adam Silver, um, if you had to like make one, a couple, or maybe not even just one, but like if there are things that you could say, to quote, improve the product, what would it be to kind of bring in back the fans? Because, there's a lot of lapsed fans. There's a lot of people who just like to complain and all that stuff. But if you were running things, what would be like one particular thing that you could implement that you think would be a good way to bring back the fans? The ones who are the complaining ones.
Well, I think as the prices for things go up, you gotta add some more value.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's things, but um, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like is there yeah, yeah, I mean it's tough, right? Because you're trying to figure out like, because there's a lot of like people who just love to complain about the NBA. You don't really hear a lot of this in like, well, you do hear it in football,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
let's
you
be
hear it
honest.
everywhere,
Yeah,
but
every
I
sport,
don't
yeah.
like, I don't
But
know.
somehow, for whatever reason, like it just seems to be something about the NBA where just people just love to complain about the NBA, even though a
Yeah,
lot of them don't watch basketball.
don't
They
watch the
just
sport.
love to
Yeah,
talk about it. Yeah,
just tough to talk. Yeah,
they just love to say something about the league, even though they don't watch it or anything like that. And for me, like, I think a big part of it is like going back to NBC, right? Like, get the song back, do a little bit of like those fluffy pieces to get the people to know the players more. For example, I have no idea who Jalen Williams is. And apparently, like, and he's killing it. He just scored 40 in the last game. But if you
Mhm.
ask me anything about him, besides the fact that he wears these like pinky in the brain looking hardened nines, I
Yep.
couldn't tell you a thing about him.
I was gonna say when I was young, when I was young, I was
Yeah.
like basketball obsessed. So I
Yeah.
was watching everything I could watch. Now I don't have that same fervor for the. I enjoy watching the game. I enjoy
Hmm.
yelling at my TV a little bit, but I don't have
Yeah.
that fervor of the game where if everything basketball I'm watching, like college, it didn't matter. I was watching or I was playing, one of the two. Yeah, so I don't have that same energy.
Hmm.
Um, which I don't think it's, I think social media has let us see a lot more of the players than we would have, which is great. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm comfortable with how much I know these players or players that I want to know. And I'm also
Yeah.
scared of like I also get scared like maybe I don't want you to share anything because I don't know what you think or how you think about things. So maybe it's better that
Keep
you're
the
not
mystique a little bit.
yeah, that you're hiding behind the mystique of the player. You just play and go home. And I don't know what you do at home, and that's your business, kind of thing.
I guess the other thing too is that with the TNT guys, like they're moving to ESPN, and there's a lot of complaints that I read and hear and stuff is like they're obviously inside the NBA has a lot of fans. They love him because of the personalities. They say how they feel. They don't really hold back or anything like that. If you're watching the video right now, Jacques is doing his best shake weight impersonation from back in the day. He's trying to get that, just trying to get that cold, into his drink and everything. But yeah. But the thing is like there's also this complaint about all of the, the TNT guys. They complain too much. Oh, they whine about too much, or they don't praise the game enough. And people like to point out the NFL. Well, look at the NFL. All they do is like praise and shower the NFL with praise. They always hype it up. They always talk it up and everything. They never talk bad about, like, on the pregame shows, all those analysts and all that stuff. And my counterpoint to that is like, so you want them to be fake? You want them to not
Yeah.
say how they feel? You want them to be rah rah cheerleaders? Like, I get, like, complaining just kind of makes, like, kind of paints a negative picture of the game and all that stuff. But if you want cheerleaders, don't bring in these guys. Don't bring them to ESPN. Like, you brought them in
Yeah.
because you want their authenticity.
Yeah.
And I would not want. That's the thing is like, when you do look at the NFL, it's very rah rah. The shield is so great, everything's hunky dory and over there. And I don't want that for the NBA. I don't even want that for the NFL. I want, like, if there's an analyst or a commentator who has something negative to say, like has actual criticism, say it. Like,
Mhm.
even if it's true or not, I want them to say how they really feel. And that's why the inside guys, like, I want them to stay how they are. I don't want them to become like
Yep.
these corporate cheerleaders who just like big up the NBA even if it's not deserving. Like, sometimes they do
Yeah.
kind of get in and over their heads, and they kind of just say stuff to stay stuff to, maybe to, like, engagement bait and all that stuff. But I would rather prefer that than to hear, like, just hear like a nerfed Charles Barkley, or a Kenny Smith who's just corporate cheerleader and all that stuff. I mean, Shaq is Shaq. You pay him enough, he's gonna say whatever you want, I think.
Right.
But to hear like a muted Charles Barkley, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I don't want the NBA to start becoming like the NFL where everything's just great. Like, if they have something to say, they should be able to say it.
Yeah. It almost feels like the people in the NFL are like scared to say anything,
They're scared, yeah.
because they don't know what's going to happen. Like any criticism, they feel like they're gonna, something's going to happen to them, and that's why I think the TNT show is so good, because you have three former players that they really don't need a thing else for the rest of their lives from the league, so they can
Hmm.
say whatever they want to say and do
Hmm.
whatever it is they want to do. And I think that's a huge difference. And then also, like with football, I think everybody watches those shows, like the pregame shows and all that stuff. And basketball just doesn't keep that kind of same. Basketball doesn't have that same energy. Basketball, like, most people, I believe, probably just watch the game. They don't watch the afterwards, the after show or the pre-show and the.
Besides the
So
inside
I think,
stuff.
besides the inside, I mean, we watch the inside stuff, but it seems like it's just a different culture in football, and I think that's where the difference lies.
Yeah, there just seems to be a lot of, like, just football cultures. Like, you watch everything. You're there at
Yeah.
like whatever time in the morning to watch the pregame shows, which I used to be when I was younger, when I had that energy to like watch football all the time. Not so much anymore. Like, just show me the highlights, dog. I'm good. But with basketball, yeah, I don't also watch the pregame stuff because whatever. Like, I'll watch the game, but I'll watch inside afterwards. Like, that's the only time I've ever been interested to watch anything post game. Like, it's always funny to me whenever I see like all these post game shows and how important it is to the networks, and I'm like, people watch this stuff. Like, but
Gotta
that's what
be.
makes
It's
it,
gotta be.
but that's what makes Insight so special, is
Yeah.
that they do stuff to bring you in that's beyond the basketball. Like, they genuinely feel like a bunch of dudes, a family who just likes having fun and occasionally talking about basketball, but sometimes they'll devolve into talking about gas math, which is still one of the wildest things I've ever seen in an inside segment, when Shaq was talking about like filling up his gas only a quarter through. And where else are you going to get that? You're not going to get that from, the Fox crew, like for the NFL. You're not going to get that
No.
from the ESPN guys, like you're not going to get that from Stephen A. Smith. The man's got a platform to promote. He's got a presidential run to consider. He's not going to talk about gas math. you know, he's got other priorities. He's got a game of solitaire going on that he doesn't want interrupted. By the way, if I was ever in that kind of position, you would not catch me playing solitaire. It'll definitely be Balatro. Like, you know,
That's because you're bougie. That's because you're a bougie video game player.
I was like, when I saw Stephen A, I'm like, solitaire, come on, Stephen A, what are we doing here? Like, we need to like update our like, game library choices and everything, man. Like, I get he's up there compared to like me, but yeah, when I saw solitaire, I'm like, we couldn't like, do anything. Like, there's no other card game out there. Like, you couldn't like do like Uno. Like, it'd be funny if they all had like a running game of Uno, like all of the people on the staff. I think that'd be pretty funny. But
I mean,
yeah,
sometimes
man.
you need something simple. Sometimes you need something simple. That's all it is.
I don't know. I don't really knock him for doing that. It's like, hey man, like, you're there, you're there at the game, you're paying attention. And there are sometimes,
Yeah.
your mind tends to wander, and it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, if it affects his performance, then I guess that's a problem. But
Right.
I don't
That's
know. It didn't
different.
seem like it didn't seem like there was anything wrong about what he talked about that particular night. No, and I don't think anybody pointed out anything that seemed off, so
Not outside of the regular him hollering and doing whatever it is he do. So like I think like it felt like a normal show. He just happened to be on Tetris. I think people
yeah,
were
yeah.
just surprised
See,
to get a
Tetris. I
little
would have preferred
glimpse.
if he was playing a game of Tetris. That'd be pretty wild if he was playing a game of Tetris. I'd be like, what are your Tetris strats, Stephen A? Do you do the infinite spin? Like, I think that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, it was just nice, just get some little quick, just get your mind off things, just clear your head real quick before it's time to go on. Maybe that's what he does when he's nervous. Like,
yeah.
people we don't know. We're just being judgy. We're being judgy.
Yeah,
Stop being
we are
judgy,
being
people.
judgy. Yeah, no, yeah, no, totally, totally. But if I'm gonna be judgy, I'm gonna if I had to do like the one big change, like in terms of like NBA coverage and everything. I mean, it's good the NBA NBC is coming back, songs and all that stuff. But if I had to make one big change, I take Shaq out of Inside the NBA. I'd replace him with like Chris Webber because that to me was always the best crew. Was when Chris Webber was there before Shaq. I always thought they was funnier. I always thought the bits rolled better. Like Shaq to me was always like great in spurts. Like he's great as like somebody who comes in. He's like a tag partner, right? Like he comes in, he's the
Mm,
hot tag. Like in wrestling when someone gets beat up all the time and he's always like reaching out for the tag, like oh help me out, guy, and all that stuff. And then the
yeah,
guy
yeah,
who comes
yeah,
in, he does all the stuff and then goes into like the finishing and everything. Like to me,
yeah,
Shaq is that guy. He's not the one who's always in the ring at all times. He's the one who gets the hot tag, does all the cool moves, and then goes straight into like the finish. When he's there for like prolonged stretches, I'm just like, dude, man, like I get it. You guys, you got 4 rings, bro. Like we, like, and you take sometimes you take jokes too personally, and then you come back and say, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, no, you don't, Shaq. Sometimes you just really take stuff a little bit too personally for my taste. So for me, if we could sub in Shaq and like have him be like a special attraction where he's got like his own segments or he does like his own thing, I think I would prefer that. And I get it. Like everybody loves the big fella. He's his rating is very high, so I'm like in the minority in this opinion. But for me, I prefer Shaq to have a more like special attraction role where he's like I remember when it was like when KG was on TNT and he had like his like own set, like his Area
hmm
21 thing where he brought in like Sheed and all the like if he could do that with Shaq, I think I would prefer that. But again, I feel like I'm in the minority with that. I think people just love the Shaq Chuck banter, like the constant like back and forth with them. But for me,
Yep.
I'm kind of over it. Like if it's in spurts, like make me miss it, then I'd be cool with it. But if we could like sub in Shaq for like a Chris Webber or a Gary Payton or okay, not Draymond, but something like that, I think I would prefer that. So that would be my one big change, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I still see Shaq as an integral part of the show. He just gives a different temperament, gives a different energy. Just gives a different vibe than Charles or Chuck or Ernie. And so like I like him there. Um and his personality and the fun loving stuff. Cause like I don't I don't feel like the show would feel as fun without Shaq. I
Sure,
think
sure,
Shaq
I get
makes
it.
the show a lot more fun than if you put in a Chris Webber or Draymond or whoever it is.
Oh no, definitely not Draymond. Like if Draymond ever subbed in for Shaq, it's gonna be just antagonistic. just it'll just be like just the not wild, but it definitely just be like unwatchable for me just because of like Draymond's style. I'm just not particular. Like I've tried to listen to his podcast every once in a while. And I'm just like, oh, man, you just like a know-it-all, dude. Like it's and not like a funny know-it-all. It's more like a smarmy, I know everything, I'm better than you kind of know-it-all. Where it's like, oh, okay,
Mm,
buddy, I get it. But yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I think the Thunder take it tonight. Thunder in six. I think,
Wow, that was very
yeah.
harsh. Well,
And
people
you
won't see
know,
this until
yeah, we
Tuesday.
won't see it. Yeah, so
So
it's probably gonna look really bad. But yeah,
yeah,
Thunder in
cause
six
wait, what's
probably.
today? Today's
It,
okay. So
yeah,
then
game
that
six is
means they'll
tonight.
play another
So
one. That'll be Sunday, Saturday or
Sunday, yeah,
Sunday,
the
game
finals will
seven.
be over by the time people watch this episode. So my
Ah,
prediction is
okay.
probably gonna look either really good, prescient, and all knowing, are really bad because the Pacers somehow won game six and then they won game seven, which it'd still be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind it. I mean, it would also mean that, hopefully Tyrese Halliburton's like healthy enough to play these next two games because he did
Yeah.
like suffer an injury. So that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, I think either way. Yeah, like, yeah, no, Thunder in six. SGA wins MVP. The city of Seattle
Converse
is
would love that.
no, Converse would love that. The city of Seattle would be sad for another 20, 30 years until they get another team because man, that sucks. I feel
I
bad for
mean,
Seattle.
they can celebrate by they can celebrate by proxy. You
Yeah,
know, like
I don't know, man.
this is this is
I feel
originally
like it's
our
still.
team.
Yeah, I feel like I feel bad, man, because the Sonics were a cool team. I used to love it when the
Yep.
Lakers would play the Sonics, man. Like the era when Gary Payton and Sean Kemp were there. Like I just like Seattle as a city in general. Like as somebody who's been to Seattle, I just love that city. So to and as somebody who went there like was a couple years ago and saw a mural of GP and Sean Kemp, they still love the Sonics, man.
As
And
they
they only had
should.
1 year and they had 1 year of KD. That sucks. They had one
Yeah.
year. And they never even got
That's
Russ. They
tough.
never got James. They never. It's just, man, it sucks. Like I'm
Yeah.
happy for OKC. They seem like a really cool fan base. They seem to really love the team. But man, Seattle though, that's I just like
Yeah.
Seattle just in general. Like
They
the
could
city, they seem like
they'll
they deserve another
they'll
team at some point.
they do deserve another team, and you keep hearing rumors of it. That's the part that sucks. Is the like all the rumors that go around about a
And it
team
never
coming
happens.
back there, and then it never happens. That's the part that sucks. Right now, they can just live vicariously through OKC as if it was their
Yeah,
own. It's
I mean,
like
cause yeah,
like seeing
yeah,
your
it's
ex girlfriend become a music superstar, and you're like, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. Good for her. Even though you be hurting on the inside.
I can't speak on personal experience for that with the music part. The other part, yeah, maybe sort of a little bit, especially in my like teenage to 20s. Yeah, no, definitely felt some of that. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, just pour one out for the Seattle fans, especially if the
Pour it
Thunder,
out. If the Thunder
pour one
win, if
out.
the Thunder
Yeah,
win,
man, like hey, we thinking about you guys, like as the people
yes,
in
that's it.
OKC
That's it.
celebrate, we thinking about you.
Our
We thinking about you, Seattle.
our hearts are with the OKC fans.
Oh man. Anyways. All right, Jacques. It's almost that time. We almost at the end of the show. But before we do that, it's time for everybody's favorite sneaker segment. It's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus time. Are we doing the mime thing? Are we just doing the
Yep, I don't know why. I don't know why. It was a choice.
I don't
It
know.
was a choice, and I'm sticking with
Yeah.
it. They always tell you to make a choice, so
Yeah.
I
I mean,
made
you
my
you
choice.
started doing it, and I was like, I think I need to join along in the miming thing. I just need to follow that. Anyways, today we are doing something a little bit different. Last
A little
week we
bit.
did the Reebok, Route Rushmore Plus, to kind of get away from the Nike and Jordan of it all. And today we're continuing that by doing the New Balance 990s sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus.
990.
So what we're doing today is we're going to pick from the very best of the entire 990 line, which means V1, V2, V3, up till I think, what is it, like 7 or 8 now? I have no idea. But anyways, we are doing the New Balance 990 Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus. And Jacques, if you're watching the video, he's showing some leg. Ooh!
Yeah.
And Jacques is probably checking, are these 990s?
Yeah, I was like, which version? I was like, which number is this? I don't know which one it is.
Yes,
Okay,
this is not going to be the easiest like, let's be honest, it's not going
no.
to be the easiest Mount Rushmore plus we've ever done. We're probably going to have to do a couple of Googling and everything. But I
Yep.
just thought it'd be fun just because, we talked about last week being more aware, well, not aware because we are aware of all these brands, but to feature them more, to talk about them a little bit more because sneaker
Yep.
tastes are changing. It's not all about the Nikes and the Adidas and Jordans anymore. Like there's definitely a push from the consumers to rock New Balance, rock Asics, rock On Runners, Hoka, Salomons, and all that stuff. So today, let's do the 990s. And the categories for that are going to be, I thought it'd be funny, one gray, one blue, one that's made in USA specifically, a collab, and a wild card. So did I go last week or did you go first last week? I
I went
forget.
first last week.
Okay, so I'll go first. So my choice for a New Balance 990 in gray is going to be the 990 V5. That is called the Castle Rock. Um,
Castle Rock.
nothing more than that, other than, it's a nice looking gray pair of New Balances, which is, of course, the standard New Balance. It's their default color. They've made a whole month out of it. It's not even like gray day. I mean, it's called gray days, but basically it's like a month long celebration of New Balance's signature style, which is gray. So, but yeah, like Castle Rock, I just like the design of the 990 V5 anyways. So yeah, the gray Castle Rock, which is funny because I think that's the one you're holding right now. It might be what you're holding right now. Is that the 990 V5 Castle Rock? And I'm like, oh damn, what a perfect timing. It's like, oh yeah, that
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't know if
actually
this
it.
is the Castle Rock, but yeah, I honestly don't know. Yeah, I mean, I gotta find a gray one. I gotta find one that's gray. I mean, they're all gray in my
They're all
eyes.
gray. All of the There's a lot of 990s that are gray. So basically you're choosing like V1, V2, V whatever. And I like
Well,
that's
I
the other
like the
thing is
V. I
like,
like the like the V6 has like the fat part on the back. The
oh, okay.
because this one like has like a thin heel cup, but that one has like a
Right.
fatter like heel piece here that wraps around. So I like the night. I like the V6. It feels
Oh, the
more like
V6.
a modern,
Oh,
more
I
like
think
a
my brother had,
modern
well, my
version.
brother doesn't have, my brother has this pair, but not this particular, not a gray colorway. But he does have the V6 990. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the V6 is the great. Yeah, V6. I'm gonna rock with the V6. I like that one.
Okay. And
And
I'm
then
just
so
gonna
the
like,
next one is a blue one. Hold on, let me
mm-hmm.
get my Googles.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna rock with the New Balance 990 V4. There's a
Mm-hmm.
navy and silver pair that looks really cool. It's a brighter blue than I would probably wear, but I like it. I'm not mad at it. I mean, it's
Oh, so
darker
you,
than Carolina blue, so that's better. That's fine.
uh-huh. Yeah, I see what you were going there. I knew it was gonna go there. By the way, you see the shirt? See the shirt? See
Yeah,
this?
I saw that. I saw that
Man.
atrocity.
How dare what? What? What?
That
Are we
that
we're doing this
light.
right now? We
That
doing this
can
right now?
no
This,
no no no.
you
Sorry,
are
my
you
apologies.
dare
My
you dare
apologies.
speak
I
you
overstepped.
dare
I
speak
overstepped.
against the goat and his alma
It's
mater?
not the goat. It's the Carolina blue. That's the problem.
The goat is wearing the Carolina. It's the cosign. The man
Okay
approves of Carolina
okay.
blue.
My bad. My fault. My fault. That's me. My bad. I apologize. I'm a rush to judge. My fault.
Oh man, this is the most contentious we've ever been. Is the blue conversation?
Yeah yeah. That's it.
Anyways, oh, so you already picked your blue. So I'm going to go with and you're gonna love this. You should look this up. The New Balance 990 V6 Prom Blue. I'm sure you're gonna love that.
Oh, we talked about this one. Oh, the Joe Fresh Goods one, right?
Yep. Light blue, baby
All
blue.
right.
Some would say Carolina blue. I
Uh,
think it's
uh,
pretty cool. Yeah, I like them.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some might say that.
Uh, Oh man. Anyways, so for my for my choice for made in USA, I'm going to go with there is this one. It's called the New Balance 990 V3. It's in tan and green. Like I guess it's like there's this theme that's called beef and broccoli, which is a
Yep.
funny thing. Like people
Yeah.
like to do that. They like to call that a theme, and I'm just every time I hear that, I'm like, I could go for some Panda Express right now. But
Right.
that
Just makes me
yeah,
hungry.
makes me hungry. I'm like, stop calling it that. I'm hungry now, guys. But yeah. So it's a V3 and it's in tan and green. But I guess people call it also beef and broccoli. So yes, we're gonna go with that one for my pick for the Made in USA pair.
Yeah. I'm gonna rock with the Bodega. They have one 990 V3 made in the USA. It's called Revered Footwear. I like
Uh-huh.
that one. It's like brown and tan with like a teal interior. I think I have these in my storage unit. I have a pair from Bodega, but I'm not sure which. I don't know if this is the nine. I think this is it. I think is it here or is it in the? No, it's probably in my storage unit. Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
rocking
okay.
with that one. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then
So and then you're up for collab.
collab.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Kith V4, the Moon. Oh, that's the same one, the Moonrock. Never mind.
Oh, okay. See,
Well,
that's
if
the thing
that's
is
Kith,
like
then I
sometimes they do blend in together sometimes.
yeah, then I'll go with the R Lee 990 V4 Trooper.
Oh, okay.
It's like a soft blue. It's a very soft blue, almost
Mm-hmm.
teal. I would rock with that. I would wear those. I would wear those for
Okay.
sure, like without
Cool, cool.
hesitation.
Nice, nice. Okay, so for my choice for collab, I'm going to go with the Jound 990 V3 green, which I think that's the first time I've ever said it out loud is Jound.
Jound. Yeah, it is
Jound.
Jound, but I always try to
Yeah, I
just
know.
correct
Yeah,
it.
we like it's clear that it's actually Jound, not Jound. No, so
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I like that one. It's a nice shade of green. 990 V3. So I'm gonna go with that one. And then for
that's dope.
my left, oh no, go ahead.
No, so that's dope.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So for my last pick, I'm going to go for the wild card. It's a Japan exclusive. It's a New Balance 990 V2. It's we've got like it's a gray, burgundy, like tan. It's a multicolor joint. But reason I'm picking it is because we need Japan representation on the show. I was actually gonna go. It was either gonna be that or the Otani. Because they have like made in UK. We should have gone with one of those categories: made in UK, made in
Yeah. Oh,
Japan.
made in UK. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we forgot about that. We should have just gone with that one. But apologies to the UK. I do have a pair of like New Balance made in UK. But it was either going to be that 990 V2 or the Otani 990 V6. But I think I'll go
Oh
with the
yeah, the
V2.
Otani one. Okay.
Yeah. So,
All
and then
right.
you have a pick for the wild card?
My wild card is I don't know if I would ever wear these just because they look so crazy. It's the I mean I probably would. I probably would. I say that now, not having seen them in person, but the Action Bronson baklava colorway
Oh,
of the
yeah. Yeah.
V6.
Yeah.
It's got like green and blue in it. I think there's another like two more other colors. Green, blue, and brown. I know that for sure. But I think there's like red. So I would say of all of the shoes on the list, this is the one that I'd probably least likely to wear. But I'm not
Mm.
opposed to it.
Yeah, there's a couple of like the Bronson, there's like a couple of different versions. Yeah, the
Yeah.
one that you mentioned, then that might be like the one even I wouldn't wear. But there's like this one that's like a tan like mud guard with like purple and green. I mean purple and pink like a upper and then like a yeah, that one's okay. I could see myself wearing that one, but definitely like the one with the green, it's like a little bit too funky for my taste. But
Yeah.
yeah. But respect to Asher Bronson. Like he always goes out there. He is always out
Yeah,
there
no,
when it comes to like
yeah,
his
they're always
style.
like super colorful, which is great. Like I'm not mad
Eye
at it. It's
catching.
like they're super
Eye
colorful.
catching.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
totally. Yeah. All right, so that was our journey through New Balance. We'll try to do better. We'll try to get an expert in here to
Yeah,
to educate us on the ways of the New Balance and to like actually get us to understand the nuances, the subtleties of
yeah,
the various releases and everything, and not just say, oh, that one, that what's the difference between like a V1 and a V6 or something like that. Like if we could get somebody like that on the show, that would be very cool, and we
yeah. That'd
we
be dope.
greatly appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so that was episode 42 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Again, I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and now we got
Yeah.
birthday boy, Jacques Slade. Well, belated
Oh
birthday boy.
yeah! Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you tuning in to Too Hard to Pass podcast. We work hard on this show, and we're happy that you guys enjoy it. Make sure you leave us a review. Make sure you leave us a comment. Yeah, and make sure you recommend the show to your friends. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you or talk to you next week. Peace.
Oh, wait. We need to do
Oh,
like
wait.
the
Sorry,
email.
don't say
yes,
peace.
emails. Do not forget, if you have any
email.
questions, concerns, and all that stuff, send it to toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. That is the number two. Number two.
Number two. All
And
right, now, goodbye.
Now we can go. All right, we out.